Shalom. Kohalal Yahweh Bashem Shai Bahashem Rakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And this lesson is, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but hey, the Egyptian is definitely against the Egyptian, and that's a big major a part of prophecy. And the video that we're going to focus on is the one at the top when it says, exposed comedian reveals why Hollywood elites support the lockdowns. All right. Let me see if I can move it over. You can see that whole title. Yeah. Why they support the lockdowns. All right. And it just goes to show you, man, that these eagles are not fit to rule, and that throughout their history of rulership, they were always fighting and bickering, murdering each other, and then fighting and murdering other nations, other races, and using them. And nothing has changed. All right. The only thing that has changed is it's actually gotten worse, because at least back then they weren't using scorched earth tactics. Now they completely have destroyed the earth, the water, the air, the food supply. Hence the reason why so many people are sick worldwide, and the shortages of food as a result of their rulership as well. All right. But I'm going to read some scriptures from the Apocrypha, from the history of the Maccabees. Like I said, they would never make a movie about this modern day, because it would raise too many questions. All right, it will raise a lot of questions that they don't want to talk about and that they don't want to answer. But it was Esau that was ruling at that time. This is First Maccabees 4:61, and it reads, "And they set up there a garrison to keep it, and fortify Bethsura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against Idumea." All right. The Romans are Idumeans. The Greeks are Idumeans. All right. Because that's how you know the Bible was tampered at, because they put Idumea in the Old Testament. They put a Greek word into the book of Isaiah. So they removed the Apocrypha and then put Idumea in the Old Testament. All right. Hence the reasons why some Jakes don't trust the Bible. Oh, that's the white man's book. No, it's actually the Bible completely and totally exposes and condemns the so-called white man, completely and totally. That's why they did what they did with the Bible and changed so many things, and then put their faces up to be the people of the Lord. That way they were completely cloaked from their sins and their crimes. But back into the scripture, First Maccabees 5 and 3. And it reads, "Then Judas fought against the children of Esau in Idumea." See, Esau is Idumea. All right. There's Isaiah 34, chapter 5 through 8. All right. "Then Judas fought against the children of Idumea at Arabotime, because they besieged Israel, and he gave them a great overthrow and abated their courage and took their spoils." All right. And so what happened? Not long after that was not long after that was the forced conversion of Edomites to following the law, statutes, and commandments, and that's where you get the term Jewish from. All right, because I'm going to read from this historical document that talks about this history that's in the Maccabees, and they kept saying Jewish, Jewish, Jewish. No. The word Jew is derived from the word Judah. All right, and the Romans didn't know the difference between Benjamin, Levi, and Judah. That made up the kingdom of Judah. Benjamin, Levi, and Judah. You cannot call a Levite a Judite. You cannot call a Benjamite a Judite. Paul told you he was from the tribe of Judah. Salakia, of the tribe of Benjamin. But yet he still was referred to as a Jew, which is what's the word that I'm looking for? Well, it's a proverb. It's not in a byword, but it's also a generic term. It's a very generic term, right? Because it's not fully identifying which tribe you're from. There are 12 tribes of Israel, all right? And they're not Jewish. They're Benjamin, Levi, Naphtali, Simeon, Reuben, Issachar, Asher, Zebulun, and so forth. Okay, let's get that straight. All right. But in this is a insert about Tryphon. All right, and I've done this before, and they always they've deleted the videos when I talked about this history before on the Maccabean Spirit channel. But here it is. It says, the surname of Diadus, the usurper of the Syrian throne, he was a native of Apamea and had been in service of Alexander Balas. On the death of Balas, all right, these are Edomites right here, Tryphon taking advantage of the complaints of the discontent among the troops of Demetrius, the second Nicator, another Edomite, set up the young son Balas, Antiochus the sixth, as claimant to the throne against Demetrius. And that's First Maccabees 11 and 39. So you know what? Let's just grab that real quick. I got the Apocrypha right here. This is First Maccabees 11 and 39. And it reads, moreover, there was one Tryphon that had been of Alexander's part afore, who seeing that all the host murmured against Demetrius, went to Simlicu the Arabian and brought up Antiochus, the young son of Alexander. And that's Alexander Balas the sixth, right? Because he made him, so basically he made a power move and made this other guy heir to the throne, while there was all this discontent among, and this is what Edom does. All right, this is how these eagles roll, man. All right, they peck at each other. It says the Jews, all right, which meant Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So we're just gonna say the Israelites. I even hate saying that word. Right? The Israelites under Jonathan came to the assistance of Demetrius in his difficulties against his revolting subjects. But Demetrius was confirmed on his throne, soon made it apparent that he did not intend to fulfill the promises to his Israelite allies. See? And that's Sirach 10 and let me grab that real quick. Never trust our enemies, man. Yeah, Ecclesiastes, Sirach 10 and 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemies, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So he went and fought wars and made this man keep his throne, and then the man didn't intend to pay him and give him what he had promised him. All right? Also, First Maccabees 11 and 53. Let's read that real quick. And it reads, nevertheless, he dissembled all that he ever spake and estranged himself from Jonathan, neither rewarded him according to the benefits which he had received him, but troubled him very sore. So now, I've made you the man, and you don't pay me, and then you trouble me very sore. Don't trust your enemies, man. That's the problem with Israel today. They're trusting that these people who've experimented on us, who've done nothing but grieve us, oppress us, subjugate us to their crooked laws, all right, do all sorts of experiments on our people against their will and against their knowledge, shooting us up with all sort of madness, with gonorrhea, syphilis, cancer, all right, and sit back and watch us suffer and die so that they could do research, all right? Don't forget you had that doctor a couple years back that was all over YouTube and social media who basically dropped dying on the medical community and the science community that they were making designer drugs and designer viruses to attack people of color. Okay? He got, they took all those videos down and called him a quack. I'm sure he got all this prestige, all these different degrees and all these great accomplishments, and they would have uplifted him as a great member of society and a doctor in the United States of America. But as soon as he didn't go along with what they were saying, all of a sudden he's a quack. His credentials didn't matter anymore. All right. Back to this printout. It says, consequently, Jonathan inflicted a severe defeat on the forces of Salaki. I missed something. Consequently, Jonathan and Simon joined Tryphon and Antiochus, securing many advantages for their country. So I helped you defeat them. So they went back, and then you didn't do me right. So they went back to the people that they had helped them against. All right, as if you can trust them. And then they defeated Demetrius. It says, Jonathan inflicted a severe defeat upon Demetrius to the success that the Israelite leaders awakened the jealousy and suspicion of Tryphon, who determined to thwart further plans of Jonathan and remove him from the obstacle in the way of securing his own crown for himself. By an act of shrewd treachery, Tryphon captured Jonathan at Ptolemais and butchered all his followers. And that's exactly, and then Simon ended up dying later on, and they both died at the hands of Edomites. Matter of fact, let's get that account. I hate even reading it. It makes me mad, but this is the first Maccabees. The mighty Jonathan was set up because they couldn't have defeated Jonathan in an honest battle. They set him up, got his trust, and when his forces were small, they surrounded him. But this is, I started verse 46. This is first Maccabees 12 and 46. So Jonathan, believing him, did as he bade him and sent away his host. So he sent away his army. They didn't want to deal with Jonathan when the numbers, they waited till they had far superior numbers. They probably outnumbered them 10-1. I think Jonathan maybe had 1,000 men with him at that point. All right. It says, so Jonathan believed in him and did as he bade him and sent away his hosts who went into the land of Judea. Right. It didn't say the land of Jewish. All right. To the land of Judea. And with himself, he retained but 3,000 men, of whom he sent 2,000 into Galilee, and 1,000 went with him. Now, as soon as Jonathan entered into Ptolemais, there of Ptolemais shut the gates and took him and all that came with him and slew with the sword. Then sent Tryphon and hosts of footmen and horsemen into Galilee, into the great plain, to destroy all Jonathan's company. But they were aware of it, and they ended up, fighting their way out of it. But nevertheless, man, never trust thy enemy. Let's get that again. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 11. Because what did this guy do? He humbled himself to Jonathan, and Jonathan believed him. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, this is verse Sirach, Ecclesiastes 12 and 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, that thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rusts have not been altogether wiped away. He is still filthy. He's still dirty. He's still the same lion eagle. All right. And they're super, super divided. Matter of fact, we'll play some of this video. And that's what they do. When they get divided, they recruit you jakes to fight for them. And then they turn around and backstab you. All right. Like I was watching a short movie called Saints and something. And something I came across on it. And it was showing you tank commanders and military men being treated like shit overseas by their Edomite counterparts. And the one guy told him the same thing happening at home is happening over here, and the same thing happening back home. All right? You can fight, bleed your blood. You cannot trust in these people. And unfortunately, and very foolishly, many of our people do. Hopefully they don't put all them damn commercials again.
Christmas is coming
and of
soon.
Course they
and you
did.
can prepare some gifts for yourself and your friends. This is the Saker 18.
A comedian now revealing why the wealthy Hollywood elites really support the lockdowns. I've got the details before I get into that. If you're new here, tap the red button down below to subscribe, then hit that notification bell so you are the first to know when the latest news breaks. Bronson Stocking from Town Hall reports that the comedian Whitney Cummings took a swipe at wealthy Hollywood elites for selfishly supporting the lockdowns. In a tweet that she posted, the Two Broke Girls comedian tweeted her amazement over wealthy Hollywood elitists who support the new lockdowns after the California Governor Gavin Newsom, the Democrat, unveiled new regional lockdowns expected to shut down much of the state in coming days. She posted to Twitter, "It's amazing how wealthy Hollywood people want everyone to stay home except grocery workers and Postmates and Amazon delivery people and